Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are given the honor of kicking this off, but it's a challenge doing it immediately after lunch. Yeah. Some say it's tougher before lunch, but I think equally challenging will be after lunch. But I guess we better get your attention first before the others. Now, today we are given a very interesting title to talk about, From Niche to Mainstream, Unlocking the Potential of the Muslim Travel Market. Now, when we talk about niche, what comes to mind? In most cases, when you talk about a niche market, it would be something that is relatively small, but having something that is special. So when they say you're a niche player, you're a niche market, it is not something big. But I'm still wondering why we say it's niche when you are talking about the possibility of having 245 and more arrivals come 2030. 230 million arrivals, and you call this a niche market? So something worth thinking about. But just to show you how this number is relative to markets. You talk about China outbound, number one outbound market in the world, about 140, 150 million. You talk about outbound from India, about 40 million, right? So Korea, about 20 million or so. Saudi is also about 20 million. So 200 odd million is a huge number. Now, is that a market that all of you want? Is it a nice to have to be Muslim friendly? Or is it going to be a must have in the near future? Now today, I'm very fortunate to have my three panelists who are experts in their own field to share with us how they got started thinking about halal tourism and share some of the insights and experiences to help us think about unlocking this massive market called halal tourism. So perhaps we can start off with Sarah. Yeah, Sarah, just share with us, what prompted you to want to look at this so-called niche market called halal tourism or Muslim travel market?
Yeah, so I look at Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia for Klook, some of the biggest origins to address for the Muslim travel market. And it feels very full circle for me because the reason why we started looking at this segment in the first place was because of the Global Travel Muslim Index. So a very big thank you to MasterCard and Crescentrating for actually doing the study and allowing us to build the business case for it. So this was something that actually Klook started looking into before COVID, but unfortunately because of COVID, we postponed. And then subsequently, we launched it together with Halal Trip just earlier this year at the Natas Fair. Yeah, so I think again, like what Soon Hwa mentioned, it's really the potential, and it's really good to be able to put a number to it through the GMTI. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. How about Cleo?
Good afternoon, everyone. For Megaworld Hotels and Resorts, we have been really working closely with the Department of Tourism. And one of the programs that they've been looking into is really the Muslim-friendly destination, positioning the Philippines as such. To be able to do that and support them, we got into a memorandum of understanding, which we inked sometime last year only, in May 2024.
So very recent. Yeah.
Just very recently, a journey of 1 year. Inked at the pavilion of the Arabian Travel Mart, where we committed to really do Muslim-friendly for all our hotels. And we did the first few steps, of course, the certification, and was able to certify 13 of our hotels. And some of our kitchens in Trickles got halal certification, and we were very glad as each certification comes in, some of the other hotels really said to themselves, it's possible, we can do it. It's not impossible for us to get into the journey of certifying our properties. And we also have very good relationships with our local government units. And our developers are also very supportive to give us a cove. If any one of you knows the Boracay Island. A dedicated cove was converted to be a Muslim-friendly beach cove, which we call the Marhaba Beach. And we're very proud since it's the first in the Philippines. We've truly done a journey that has been collaborative among sectors. It hasn't been the easiest, I swear, but we know that it's definitely worth it because here we are now after 12 months.
Thank you, Cleo. Yeah. James, how about your end? Yeah.
Right. So first and foremost, we're from Hong Kong, Ngong Ping 360. We operate the cable car, taking guests from on the Lantau Island to an outpost, I would say, called Ngong Ping, where the Big Buddha is. So again, for us, I think it's unlike what Cleo just shared. They did it in 12 months. It was a journey of over 10 years for us, basically. So it started off, I think the motivation was we see the population. We see that traveling public. Muslims, very big in Malaysia and Indonesia, they're the mainstream. And of course, the Middle East is also very important for us. And we're seeing not only ourselves putting the efforts, but the airlines having more capacity into these regions, and of course the government, and today the Hong Kong Tourism Board representatives are here as well. They've been doing a lot to push the whole community there in Hong Kong to try to be more Muslim friendly, try to attract more of these tourists. So for us, the 10 years journey really started off very modest. We tried to recruit Halal certified restaurants to set up shop at the Ngong Ping village, which we operate once you arrive the Ngong Ping village. But later on, of course, we thought it was easy, so we used that. Hey, we've got Halal certified restaurants, so we go out and tell everybody, oh, we got Halal certified restaurants, so that can fulfill your basic needs, right? To feed your hunger. But that's not enough. But of course, we started doing it. We've been to ATM. We've went to these Lux Travel events, networking events in Dubai. Of course, all organized by the HKTB. And then we moved on. A few years later, we said, oh, we've got to, get that message out. So we do leaflets. We make sure that we've got all these introduction. But that's not even enough. I mean, hardware-wise. We knew during the COVID times, we already knew we need to have prayer room facilities. And of course, last year, when the Hong Kong Tourism Board, their head office, reached out to us, actually they reached out to the whole Hong Kong community, asking for hoteliers, tourist attractions to enhance their facilities so that they can be Halal certified under the Crescentrating system. And we jumped on the opportunity. So nowadays, when you arrive at the Ngong Ping village, Ngong Ping 360, you will see prayer room facilities, you will see ablution facilities. We're making sure our washrooms are friendly. We've got clear signages showing where they are. Even our frontline staff are being trained on some of the cultural sensitivity trainings, making sure that we're ready to welcome our Muslim guests. I think that's very important. I think it's an ongoing journey. So now that it equips ourselves even better when we go out to these markets to share our products. I think it's still, even though we are very close to Big Buddha, which is another religious symbol. Having said that, I think it's the mixture of Chinese culture and under a Muslim-friendly environment that we can promote.
Thank you. Hong Kong is very fortunate because they have the Hong Kong Tourism Board taking the lead. So this is the NTO or DMO taking the lead in wanting to make the destination more Muslim friendly. So they rally the whole industry, and now we have a very interesting transformation taking place in Hong Kong. So this is a good example of the government-private sector partnership. It cannot happen just by itself. Very, very important to have the encouragement or lead taken by the government agencies, and then the private sector will certainly follow, right? And the other thing that James said is that, getting Crescent rated is important. That's probably the first step. But that doesn't guarantee you business, right? You know, just be a member of an association, for example, doesn't mean that you will get business. No, you got to work it, meaning that you got to tell the whole world that you are now Muslim friendly. Use all your channels, work with all your partners. So don't just think that by taking one step, the business will come in. So that's a very important lesson for everyone. And for those who want to get on this journey, important to note that as well. So Klook, let me just swing to Klook now. You know, Sarah, you know, Klook recently partnered with Crescentrating and Halal Trip. What has been the experience so far, and how does this support your broader strategy of inclusivity and personalization?
Yeah, so I think the Crescentrating team has been working very hard with us. So currently on the platform, we have about 100 activities that have already been certified across 10 destinations. So it's slow going because I think also the Crescentrating team has been very thorough in their checks. It has involved a lot of education, not only internally with our staff, but also with merchants overseas, right? Educating them on the needs of Muslim travelers. So we go so far as to, let's say if we have a tour, we actually try to make sure that the driver is in fact Muslim, right? We try to make sure that they have stops for people to pray. We make sure that all the food recommendations that's given by the tour guide or the driver are actually halal and friendly and or Muslim friendly, right? So I think for us, one number that I have for you today is that ever since we actually had those 100 activities rated by Crescentrating, we've actually seen a 12% improvement in conversion rates. So it means that after we actually put the rating up and we assure, you know, the customers that actually these activities enhance your holiday experience, we are actually seeing better conversions and better bookings as a result. Yeah, so that I think that's the power currently of, you know, making sure that you address the consumers' needs directly. Yeah, and so far that has been the journey, and it's looking very promising. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. You know, so Klook has taken the first mover advantage, so to speak, right? They saw the space and they put up their hands and they went into action. So it is very early days, but I'm sure I can see this happening in the year or two when we come back to this forum. I think literally all the OTAs will be doing that, for sure. Yeah. So Megaworld Hotels, yeah, you know, you have got quite a few hotels now, Crescent rated. How has it impacted your positioning with domestic and international travelers? Yeah.
We've been very glad that after really putting a lot of efforts to create the Muslim-friendly certification for our hotels, initially we started off with our local accrediting body. Sorry, accrediting body, and we started with the Halal International HISIP, Halal International Commerce Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines, HISIP. We started off with them, and we're very glad that after that, we really got certified across all our 13 properties. And because we want something that's global, of course, our world-leading authority in halal tourism, Crescentrating, we're very glad that after having worked with Fazal and his team, we were able to position ourselves as with acceptable standards. But we know this is just the start. These are just the basics that we have put in place. With something that's very new to our employees, our associates, we have to take it to heart, the decision to really embrace welcoming them. Because it's not enough that we create the prayer facility. It's not enough, like we've mentioned, it's not enough that there is food from kitchen that's halal certified. We truly have to be able to educate our people so that it's not just being able to give them the basic. We are to be able to give them the delight and send off the message that the Philippines as a destination really need more of the Muslim market. We have been going through ups and downs in the count of arrivals, and the Philippines has been trying to really put it put its best foot forward to attract more markets. And the Muslim market is one that we've really been trying to target. To be able to occupy a global space and exposure as well, we are working closely with our revenue and commercial departments that make our Muslim-friendly facilities, including the Marhaba Beach, and including our associations also with the local government units that really put forward efforts in markets that attract the Muslim-friendly accommodation in the country. And we'd like to also emphasize that we've partnered with some of our Muslim influencers. And it's great to know we have Shahameta, who do interesting content to make sure that we send off the message across that as a Muslim family, it's one that can be done enjoyably, and you have a safe space in our country, and you definitely have a meaningful experience because the Philippines, starting with us, Megaworld Hotels and Resorts, and USEC, Myra here, has done so much work that a lot of the developers are already on the works for more Muslim-friendly accreditation also, and we know that we see this as a countrywide effort to make sure that our arms are open wide to sending off the message that the Muslim market is definitely welcomed in the country.
Thank you. Now, getting rated is only the first step, right? So we got to go beyond that checklist, ticking the boxes and all that. That is the easy part. I think once you get rated, there's a lot more to do. You want to make sure that your people, your staff are all fully aware of what you are doing. They need to be properly trained to make sure that guests, Muslim guests arriving at your property must enjoy immersive, personalized, and respectful experience. Right? So that part is the tougher part because getting rated is easy. Pay some small investment, make some small investment, you get rated. But the work starts from there. And those organizations who take the trouble to make sure that it becomes part and parcel of your culture will get more Muslim travelers. Yeah. So James, can you tell us what is in store for you going forward? Yeah, now that you are already very much on this journey. Yeah.
Right. So first and foremost, I think it's not only Ngong Ping 360 as an attraction that can make the difference. It's actually all of Hong Kong. Particularly for the Muslim segment, I see it as a Team Hong Kong effort. Of course, the Hong Kong Tourism Board has been doing a lot. Actually, even our chief executive have been going to different parts of the Muslim world, telling our Muslim friends that Hong Kong really welcomes the Muslim traveling public, and we want to establish more relations. I think that's a very good start. And I think with all these efforts in the past 9 months, I've been seeing a huge shift, even amongst our other parts of the tourism community, the accommodations. We've got some accommodations friends coming from Hong Kong as well. And now we've got more, accommodation facilities being Muslim friendly, and then ourselves as the attractions, also, becoming Muslim friendly. That's how we actually can be a team to pitch to the different markets that, hey, Hong Kong is a viable option for Muslims to travel. Of course, individually for us, then we definitely ride on the Crescentrating. Like every one of us just said, that's the basic foundation that you need. Now, with the tourism board and the government-led messaging promotions, we can follow up talking to the different trade partners, the Muslim trade partners in the different markets, and trying to promote. Of course, we're still on a learning journey. Of course, Klook is another platform that we already work very closely with. And as a result, of course, it's a no-brainer, very logical that we will be featured one way or the other. Of course, we want to learn, in terms of social media for the Muslims, how we are going to be able to target that. We believe we've been very mature in terms of, markets like China, or on the Western markets, we make use of all these different platforms to promote our product. But hopefully, as we move forward, we want to go into really, it's like the topic of the panel discussion, moving into mainstream, the Muslim mainstream, how we are going to be able to speak directly to our Muslim travelers and to tell them that what's the offer that we have. I think this is the challenging part coming forward for us.
Thank you. As more and more organizations embrace halal tourism, this is going to grow the ecosystem. At the end of the day, travel and tourism is all about the ecosystem, because it's not just about hotels or the airlines. It's a very long value chain. So until everyone is on board, you don't really have an industry. So I can see more and more coming on board. It means there will be networking effect, more collaborations, cross-selling. Now, in the interest of time, I only have a couple more minutes. I would just like to close by saying that, earlier I did say that a market this big really shouldn't be called a niche market. But it is special though. It has got a unique characteristics. The good news is that to tap this market, we know where the demand is, meaning we know where the source markets are, right? Where these Muslim travelers come from. It is no rocket science, every one of us know. And to get started to tap this market, to get started is also a very easy process. Now, can destinations and travel industry players afford to ignore a market this massive and this fast growing? It is not if, but when niche will give way to mainstream. It is already happening, right? It's not new, it's already happening. Don't wait. The future is now. So with that, let me end the session by thanking my three esteemed panelists for their valuable insights and sharing, and all of you for joining us this afternoon. Thank you.